I want the money to look the same and better, but it's not to get busier as I grow older in this business.
We jump from ship to ship in 90 days, but it take more than 90 days to even see results.
I don't think you would be proud of me.
I want to welcome you to the Content Aesthetic Show, where we have different aesthetic professionals, different med spa owners share their stories so they can keep encouraging you to keep thriving, to keep impacting, keep making a difference. Because sometimes as an entrepreneur, it gets hard, but I want you to keep going no matter what. And on today's episode, we have Terrelle. How are you?
I am well. How are you doing?
I am blessed. I cannot complain.
Yeah.
So what I would love to know is, how do you make a difference in the world?
I would say I make a difference in multiple ways in my world, because my world consists of different things. So whether it's motherhood, whether it's business, it's just my community, my girlfriends. I feel like I'm impactful in several different lanes. So would you like to ask me which world?
Which one you want to talk? We in the aesthetic world right now.
So we can talk business.
Yes.
So I would say how I make the most difference in the world of business is that I create change. I create results by healing the body from the inside out. That was my niche in how I built my business.
Break that down.
What that looks like in business for me, my clients struggle with aggressive acne and hyperpigmentation. And so the skin tells about a complete life journey. Your organs, whether you need a detox, whether you're deficient in certain things like a vitamin D deficiency, is connected to acne. A lot of people don't know that, but geographically, most of us are deficient in vitamin D. Our diet, dairy, sugar, caffeine, high stress, most of us get that in 1 cup.
1 cup.
With our coffee or our lattes in the morning, because we're in this survival mode of life trying to just stay woke. Yeah. And so we don't realize what our triggers are, and we're playing a huge role in our skin and our gut health. And so what I teach people is how to heal the gut, and ultimately it heals their skin.
I love that, because I just got done doing a cleansing, a full body cleansing, where I had to be on a raw food diet. And that challenged the mess out of me.
Well, listen, your skin looks amazing.
I ain't even there all the way yet. I need to keep going. But what happened was, I never ever had a raw food diet in my life. And so I did 10 days straight, but I had to take herbs.
Yes.
So I had to take 30 pills a day. Yeah. All herbs with different
the parasite cleanse.
It was crazy.
Liver cleanse.
Everything.
All the toxins.
Everything. And I had to have a raw food diet and only drink alkaline water.
Yes.
Right? My mind was playing tricks on me.
Did you get dizzy, lightheaded at some time?
Yes, I was bad. And I made a list of food that I wanted to eat when I got done. I never even ate these foods in a long time. So it's like, I ain't ate none of this food in a whole year.
But I want it.
Yeah. And so I realized that we have the control on what we can eat or not, right? And so once I did get done with my cleansing, I did go eat something. I went and ate a steak. And I ate some fries, right? I could not eat the fries. My body told me I didn't even like that no more.
Rejected it.
And so now I'm still eating my fruits and all my salads and all of my stuff.
Feeling better.
Yes. And only thing I did add in is at night I eat a soup now. Because I couldn't eat nothing cooked or baked or roasted or nothing. So like cabbage soup and stuff like that. And it made me feel better. Like I'm feeling better. I'm thinner. I'm getting there. But
leaning out.
But you don't notice this unless you take initiative.
We're so dirty.
So what made you like, I want to specialize in this?
Well, I battled with my skin as a kid. Growing up in Michigan, just not really as the era of life I would say I grew up in the 80s and 90s. We didn't have Black skincare specialists. You know, we may go to a Caucasian derm and they'll give everybody the same Retin A, or we have Noxzema, Ambi, like those names. And if it didn't work right away, we didn't know to stick to it. We didn't know if it was working for us, but we just didn't have many options. And we had these diets that were just out of control that we didn't know was contributing to a lot of our issues. Like we walk to it's the culture to walk to the corner store.
Yes.
To get our now and laters, our Chico stick, our Skittles, our Starburst, our Faygo, our Snickers, our Little Debbies. Yes. And so all of the sugar, we don't know how much it is really affecting us. And it creates these horrible habits where we, like you said, once you got clean, you didn't even need the sugar other than the natural sugars from the fruit. But we season our food before we even taste it.
Yes, you're right.
And when our body is clean, the salt is so loud, like it's already enough in its natural state. But we're so dirty, the layers on our tongue, you know, our mind, our guts is so toxic. We don't even know that we only need these things because of toxicities inside of our body. So it's just education.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. Do you, like, since it's like what you preach, what you teach, do you get a craving for any sweets?
No, sugar has been a problem for me. And I would say I can connect it to business. If you're having some emotional times, you want to be an emotional eater, you want to eat some sugar because it's that satisfaction, you know, of making you feel better when you have some worries, you have some fears, you do want to eat some sugar. And I had a period where I wanted, I felt like I needed the coffee, and I'm not a coffee drinker, but the lattes. I wanted a chai tea latte with almond milk from Starbucks.
We kind of got a lot of those over there too. Right over there.
I'm not going to have one today. But I will tell you, my skin lets me know right away. And I can look at your face when you come into my spa, or if I'm anywhere that you are, and I can kind of tell based on your type of breakout and where it's located on the face map, because your organs is connected to every area of your face. I can tell where you're most toxic, and I can tell what you're consuming. I know coffee drinkers, I know alcohol drinkers, I know people who smoke, because of how their skin eats up the product. Skin is topically completely dry, like you're just dehydrated topically. And I can just see kind of, you know, through the blackheads, I can kind of see your habits in your face. Your skin really does tell a story about your habits, who you are, and what you do. I've had some people go on a major healing journey where they discovered through their skin they had lupus because of where the breakout was, and the continual breakout after so much derm, doctors, estheticians, clear you, come back again, clear you, come back again. Then you realize it's a bigger issue.
That's deep. And like, how long did it take you to actually learn how to read from the face?
Well, they teach you, you know, in aesthetic school, you learn about the face map and how to break down the face and kind of see, you know, the gynecological area, like face and forehead. You can tell that there's a dairy, you know, and sugar, because normally the forehead tells dairy and sugar. A lot of women who struggle in the jawline areas, hormone issues, and you can kind of tell if there's like hair growth and a lot of hyperpigmentation and scarring where they kind of get the bearded chin area, that there may be some PCOS and stuff like that. A lot of times I can just kind of see how aggressive the hair growth is to know that there's an imbalance with some testosterone, and when your body is just out of alignment. As women, you kind of know based on some of the issues when your body is completely out of whack.
That's deep. I love that. And so when you was a younger you and your skin wasn't where it was, did you get picked on? Did you get bullied?
I did. And it's so funny because my son, exact same age, is starting to have the acne in 9th grade. As a young girl around 6th grade, and you're a little younger, but you probably remember that in the African American culture, they used to put a lot of grease on our face. We used to be shiny in our school pictures. And so with all the grease, we don't realize like that literally is the grease out of your hair, you know, or the Vaseline. We thought that was okay, and it's really congesting our pores, and we sweating outside, and we just We just
My
didn't know.
mama told me because it was cold outside.
Put the Vaseline on your
Yes,
face.
it was cold outside.
It's a barrier.
Mm.
It doesn't hydrate. It sits on top of the skin. So it kind of like occlude. It doesn't, create any type of hydration.
Yeah.
As soon as you wash that off, you're going to be ashy again.
Mm.
Yeah. So it's no benefits to it.
Yeah, I don't do it today, but
you don't look like you did it today.
Nah, I don't do it. I don't really like put stuff
Walk
on
around
my face.
greasy. Yeah. Well, you're blessed.
Yeah, I don't do too much. So with your son dealing with acne now, how do you mentally protect him from the mean kids like when you was growing up?
So just to circle back a little bit, when you asked me about the bullying, I did. I was still a cool kid. I played sports, I had lots of friends, but even though they did it in a joking way, I still was super concerned. I still I had my own insecurities. It wasn't go hide your face, I don't want to come to school, because again, I was a popular kid and I was liked and loved by most. However, my son is in the same situation. You still feel low about yourself in your own, you just want to feel good, especially if you don't have a lot of friends going through the same thing. You kind of feel like you're on an island by yourself. High school kids' diets are horrible. They love the sugar. They love the milk and cereal. They
just dug it.
So I will tell you, to treat them is difficult when it comes. I'm a corrective skincare specialist. I specialize in acne and scarring. However, mentally, that's a lot for a kid because these surfaces don't feel good. Extractions, squeezing on their faces, hot pills, micro needling where you got to be numb. I got needles in your face where I'm, going into that scarring and stuff. Like that can really damage a kid's psyche of being in pain, trying to get to a better place with their skin. So you most likely would turn to medicine as an alternative, just to not have such a harsh road. And nothing against medicine, but it is a Band-Aid if you don't get to the internal of why it's actually happening in the first place.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And that's big because for your son to be going through it around the same time you went through it, like it probably was like, man, I knew
how to encourage him. He dates this really pretty girl and her skin is flawless, So he like, oh, Mom, I feel good about myself, but I'm really starting to get insecure. He said the word insecure. I'm starting to get insecure about my skin. And so I said, I'm going to help you. So, we only been on like 2 weeks and we already see some clarity. But the good thing, having me as his mom.
That's what I'm about to say. He don't know how much money he's saving. No.
For sure. I'm able to help him. I'm able to help the medicine along, if you will. So the journey that most would go on and how long it would take, his would most likely be cut in half because he has me in his corner.
I love that. And so before you went all into your aesthetic practice, what were you doing?
As a mental health therapist.
Tell us about it.
Well, I was working in the school system first as an educator, and I went into the same population, treating the same children in their home environments in the most at-risk part of the city of Atlanta. So I went from the classroom to the homes, dealing with some of the same issues, but you get to see a broader aspect when it's the actually entire family dynamic. You get to see the root of the cause. And that's probably why I got into skin as corrective, because you get to the root of the problem.
How was that transition, though, for you from therapist to aesthetics? Like, one day I know you had to be like, all right, I got to say goodbye and I got to say hello to a new journey.
Well, on a therapy side, you're still doing the same work, just for a different cause, a different reason. Acne and hyperpigmentation, chronic scarring is a very emotional clientele. Most of the people who come to me have tried everything. Doctors, they've been breaking out ever since they were elementary school, middle school. Them and their parents have spent a lot of money on products and skincare by the time they find me. And most of my clients have in common that they all have tried everything. So they're exhausted by the time they find me. And so I have to have a lot of grace for them, because I can start and finish. What they don't realize is that everybody who comes to me has the same story. Yeah. So I have to be more empathetic and don't come off desensitized of, girl, I know, or, I understand. And so, but you do therapy still. It's still that one-on-one. It's still that encouraging. It's still that building. It's still that wiping tears. It's still that. And so once I create change in a result, the loyalty is, because again, they've been on this lifetime journey of nothing working. Yes. And when you fix the inside of a person, now you know that if I eat that, it's going to trigger me. I'm in my childbearing years. It's going to mess with my hormones. I'm going to be starting over. I paid a lot of money to get to this place. They almost have like PTSD.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask. Like, knowing that the past wasn't working for them, like, that means you got to work even harder to convert them as clients.
Well, they did research on me before they found me. Mm-hmm. But I don't take everybody who's not married to the process.
Yeah, mindset.
You can't come to me married to what you already know. You need to be open about what you need to do next. Yeah. And if you're not, then I won't take your money. Yeah. Because then if you're using your products with my services, then I can't tell you when the results will come to pass.
I'm telling you.
And so it's a complete package with me. You have to be on everything that I tell you to be on, and you have to trust me, because 9 times out of 10, this worked a lot of times before you got here.
Yeah.
And so it's that process.
Yes. And I see that too for us in the aesthetic world, helping the aesthetic professionals. It's like, oh, well, I attempted this before I attempted that. Like, I need a result tomorrow. And it's like, well, if you attempted this and attempted that, you ain't get no result tomorrow.
Yeah.
Why you think you just gonna instantly get a result tomorrow?
Why are you putting that pressure on me?
I ain't taking it.
Your doctor couldn't fix it. Mm-mm. And now you want me to do it in a week.
Yeah, that's
and your
not
first
right.
service, you want the result, but you gave them grace for how many years?
Yes.
Okay.
So we understand, we do the same. And so when you come to us, you got to use our full system.
You have to.
Because we don't know what you're doing.
Where the breakdown will be.
Yeah. It's like, are you picking up the calls? Are you calling the people back? Or are you, how many times are you following up? Like, it's that follow-up.
I don't know where the breakdown in the system will be, but I know what I deliver.
Yes.
And that's what I got to vouch for. So if you want to keep your old SD's products and you want to stay on a little bit of medicine and you don't want to take the supplements and, if you don't want to do the complete, then I can't take you as a client. Yeah. I just can't.
And it feels good to tell people no. Like, for me, I love
pretty
it.
good at it.
I love it.
I'm pretty good at it.
I enjoy it. I don't think twice about it.
Sleep really good.
They like, oh my gosh. They like, you gonna tell me no? You gonna send me my money back? Or you not gonna take me?
100% refund.
Mm-hmm. You're not ready.
Yeah, or just don't take it at all. Take you at all.
Because at the end of the day, when you're serving and you helping other people,
yes,
it shouldn't be a headache.
I'm too far along in this journey, and the next client is going to be so cooperative and so ready
and grateful
and so grateful. You're not going to drive me crazy.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And it's like they be like, man, you ain't even hard selling me, because I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I've been a full-time entrepreneur for 14 years.
I don't care.
Well, I see the red flags. Goodbye,
because you're going to get on my last nerve, and I need that nerve.
Yeah, I need it. I need to be sane, right? So I can impact. I love that. And so what was it like when you first opened your first, did you start with a suite? Did you start in a house? Like, what was that process like?
So I jumped out really big right out of school. And that wasn't the bad part. It was a beautiful space with a partnership. Yeah. And it wasn't about the business that wasn't successful. It was the mindset set in life that lifed that made me unsuccessful in that season. I was going through a divorce, and emotionally I was drained. And stick with me, if you will. I don't want to sound churchy, but
We here for it.
I was persecuted and paralyzed in my pain.
Mm.
A lot of people don't know how to operate in pain and still be productive.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to shift the pain to create progress. And so it stagnated me and it cost me. And I had to start life over. And so I have learned how to keep my feet moving, even in pain. And that is the biggest art of business, because life will life.
It's going to always life.
But what do you do and how do you do it? And so I had to live through it. And so when people ask me, sweet after school, should I work with someone? Should I do this? My question is a little different, because I really need, because people can do it and be successful.
Yeah.
But it's a mindset, and life has to align for you really to be able to push through some things, because adversity will come.
Yes.
It will come. And the life I knew at the time, I wasn't able to set aside and still be running after that dream and that goal at the same pace that I needed to make it happen.
I love that. And so what was the thing that you found to make you rebuild and be okay with the rebuild?
I want to work for somebody. It was the best thing I could have done, because I was sharp. I already had my master's degree coming out of aesthetic school. So I'd already been in corporate. I already knew how, I was already a professional. Yeah. So the spa industry came easy to me because I had the work ethic and the skill set and the mindset already. But I hadn't been in spa business.
Yeah.
And so working for a med spa, I was able to be on both sides with the doctor and with the fluffy stuff.
Yeah.
So in one room, we're doing Botox. In another room, we're doing post-care after laser lipo. And then on the other side is all of the low music and the, rubbing and oils and all of that. So I was able to train on and have the best of both worlds in that environment. And it literally set me up to be where I am today.
Mm. So I know I've seen your beautiful space online, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about it. Like, what was that like to go through what you went through, go pivot it for a second, then come back stronger than ever?
Well, lifed.
Yeah.
All along the way. And I had developed this passion, and I was locked into the result of what I knew I could do and the people I was helping along the way. I felt indebted to. Yeah. I said, it's different when you're still searching for purpose. And it's different when you wake up every day and you right where you're supposed to be. I'm no longer searching for where I'm supposed to be. I'm just growing in it, expanding in it. And so this was the expansion project. This was it, where not only where I became number one at the result, I also knew that I wanted to create those results and train up a generation coming in behind me. And so there's more SDs that can correct skin and give people the hope that I have done for them as well.
Yes, I love that. And what was the space size of the first one that you had? And then what is this space size?
Well, I was a solopreneur, so suite size. Of course, the first building was, maybe 3,000 square feet. Yeah. Then working in a doctor's office, but then coming into my own, the size of a room.
Yes, but that's okay.
The size of a room, and from celebrities to politicians to business, everyday working class, that room didn't have a prejudice.
Yes.
The result was the same.
I love that.
And I built in those spaces. Yes. And it allowed me to believe in myself enough to step out there again, because my clientele met the expectation of the growth. And so I was courageous enough to try again. Yes. Yeah, along with giving people the opportunity to work alongside of me.
I love that, because the reason why is because a lot of people won't start today because they too busy looking at what somebody else is and what lap of the race they're on, and they think that they supposed to be there, but they not. Just get started with running.
Yes.
Just get started with running. If you on lap 39 and this person on lap 1, they looking at you and they want to be at lap 39.
Yes.
But they don't understand how much time you've been put in, how many ups and downs and resets and all of that, how many times you got injured along the journey, but keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a constant pivot of life. And it's a constant adjustment of mindset.
Yes.
And anytime you fall short of either, it's going to show up in your business.
100%. 100%. And when it show up, it come knocking. Oh, them, you thought police knock on the door with something. These knocks is different.
I don't even know if they knock it. I think they just kicking it in.
Yes. But it's like,
yeah,
you got to keep going.
No, you have to keep going.
You know, people might call them obstacles, but I call them motivational pinpoints.
Yeah.
And so what it is, it's a pinpoint of when you had to get strong to get to the next level. And now you can keep going back and to that pinpoint and using it as fuel to keep going.
Yes, I love that.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
And sometimes when we in a storm and we get out the storm, we forget the storm. But it's like, why? That thing made me strong. I didn't even know I was that strong. Like you guys, sometimes we don't. We put ourselves in a small box.
Thought it was gonna take me out.
Yeah, and it was like
still standing.
Like I tell people all the time, when I transitioned to the aesthetic world, this was the hardest pivot I had to do in a long time.
Yeah,
I went from making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, a month, to saying, I'm about to go to one area. That was scary. And what happened was I had a big event, and I spent hundreds of thousands on the event. And I focused more on the back end than the people. And I said to myself, I got the wrong people in the room. At that moment, I realized that I got disconnected from my purpose.
I gotcha.
And that made me stop. And then I found out while I was there at the end of the event, I found out it was like 6 people sleeping in their cars because they drove to Atlanta to hear me speak for 3 days. But the hotel I was in was $300-$400 a day. They didn't have that. But they was willing to get on the road to come hear me speak. Wow. And I'm talking about I got the wrong people in the room. Jesus. It's because all of these mentors, I had 13 coaches at one time. They're brainwashing me to have my $1 million day, $1 million day. I'm seeing my peers do $1 million in a day, $2 million in a day. And I'm like, oh yeah, I do that easy. I'm doing hundreds of thousands in a day at a time.
Yeah.
And I realized that wasn't me. And so after that event, I took a 45-day mental sabbatical and detox from social media, from the world, from everything, and took back control of my thinking.
Wow.
And from there, I was like, man, I'm about to get into one market. And I was going to lawyers, Black lawyers. I was about to go to Black lawyers. And I spoke at Candace's event, Black Spot Expo.
Yeah.
And when I spoke at that event, I ended up signing up a few med spa owners. And when I signed them up, I realized it was the same exact thing I've been doing and teaching for the last few years. And so we was like, oh my gosh, we're about to go into the aesthetic market. It was not an easy transition. So about 8 months, I went from making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month to barely making $20,000 a month. But my lifestyle, $45,000 a month.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh. I said, God made me feel like the people I was downing.
That you needed to help.
And so at that moment, I realized what that was for. But that whole 8 months, I was building my system.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I was just pivoting, not doing it. No, we was building our aesthetic system, our content aesthetic growth system, right? We was building the system, but we couldn't, it was hard to even give out free content.
I see.
It was so hard. And then top of the year came, and one of our clients, we blew up to 6 figures in 1 month. Next thing you know, we have 54 clients in less than 30 days.
Wow.
Crazy transition. But what I realized was I had to pivot. And when I pivot, I end up going to an industry where majority of everybody is serving leaders and they want to help their community. And so my whole goal is to help serving leaders serve.
Love that.
And I enjoy it. I'm less stressed. I brought down my lifestyle.
Yeah.
I just enjoy helping and seeing the
Simplicity.
results. Yes, it's different. I changed my attire.
I mean, you still look good though.
I like this. It felt better. Like it's better than, crazy name brand. I'm like, the suits and all make me feel more confident.
Yes.
And then
it's giving grown man.
Yeah, I'm growing up in these streets, right? And but I'm thankful because I have that. And I talked to my pastor, right? My pastor had a sermon around that time, said it's okay to start small.
Yeah.
I never knew that. I was always taught go big or go home.
That's what we taught.
I never in my life was taught it's okay to start small. I thought starting small was weak.
Yeah.
Because you can't test when you go big.
It said don't despise small beginnings.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like when he said that, and I thank him, his name, Pastor Lee Jenkins, right? I thank him to this day. He even came and blessed my office and everything. And I thank him because of that.
Yeah.
And he said, it's okay. We all have those problems. Like he said, lucky you had it in your early 30s and you got over it. It's some people that's still stuck in it.
Whew, I almost had a Holy Ghost moment. Because listen, I just taught this last night. I said, be careful of who you get your information from. Because just like your pastor who holds that position of power, when you come to him vulnerable and you trust him and you respect him, you expect him to tell you something good that's going to help your life. But it's those who abuse those positions and we're still vulnerable and they tell us something that we respect and love and it don't help our life. And we have to pay for them pouring something into us that could become poison in our lives. And there's some decisions I made from listening to the people that I love and respected, expecting them to tell me only good things.
Yeah.
So when it's my opportunity now, when someone comes to me, I make sure I remember who I was in that season of my life and how I never abused the opportunity to tell somebody, because it can literally shift their whole trajectory of the entire life. And they can go on a path of dangerous path. And so I'm very cautious sitting in that same seat of being respected and being loved by others because I've had some bad information.
Man,
I had to unlearn some things.
We all
uproot some things.
Yes.
And it hasn't been pretty.
Yeah. But at least you understood that it was time to unlearn, uproot, and realize that that soil is rich and you can replant.
Yes.
I think that's the biggest thing. And I look at it like all of the tools I was taught.
Yeah.
When God gave me the tools, he gave me the tools to use, but he also gave me the power to reproduce. So I can reproduce this tool and give it to somebody else and not worry about if they take it from me.
Oh, yeah.
I give you the tool, go do what you do. And I still got my tools.
Yeah.
And so that's the biggest thing I learned. And it's like, I'm way, like even you said, I see you only aesthetics. Yeah. I had to pivot. And that wasn't an easy pivot.
No.
I went through a real entrepreneur season. And but it made me a better person. And so as you a business owner and you go through entrepreneur seasons, you have ups and downs. What keep you motivated to don't give up?
Again, it's that mind shift. And either it works or either it works.
Yeah.
And so one of my good girlfriends who's a business coach, she said, when you learn either it works or either it works, there's it's a totally different goal in you.
Yeah. Because
you can't fail at the one thing that you've given everything else up for. This is how I feed my family. This is the longevity and the legacy is what is connected to what I do every day. And so to sustain that, it's a goal inside of me, even in seasons of the unknown where I'm a little unsure, because you have those moments and you see times you've never seen before. At times in business, you collaborate with those in your same industry. I text Candace the other day. I said, hey, what's going on over here?
Yeah.
I said something a little different, but sometimes we get a little worried and we talk to each other. Yeah. What I love about the spa community now, we are so large. You got your spa bosses, your business besties. You got people who across town and they look like they're doing girl, what service are, what are your memberships now? What are you doing? What's your price point? Like we can literally bounce things off of each other now in a space that we wasn't able to do that. I tell people all the time, it's been a decade for me. Mm. When I first came into aesthetics, people couldn't spell esthetician. What is that?
Facts.
What do y'all do?
Facts.
We wasn't embraced like that walking in some of these spas as African-American women. Aesthetic industry was known for being for the bougie, for the well-off, for the people who retired housewives and who was being well taken care of. And it was their spa days. And it was a luxury that we didn't feel like we deserved.
100%.
And so we've shifted that. And so I look at some of the younger girls now like, honey, it is so easy because you have me and a whole lot of resources now that is right at your reach. And to be able to walk to the next room when you're not sure and say, hey, I got a client on the table. What do you think about this peel? Yay or nay? You don't have to mess nothing up. Mm. You can just walk 2 feet down and get some help. I didn't have anybody I can bounce things off of sitting in the same space as I was. So I just think it's the collaboration. It is what we've done as Black Spa Pros. And I think it's how we come together as a community.
I love that. And we come from a season right now of the Triple J's, right? July, June, and January is the whole season.
The dip. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so we seen it across the board, you know. And the biggest thing we tell the people to do is prepare to reactivate, right? And so it's like, what are you doing to reactivate your old leads? Are you doing webinars? Are you doing events? Are you doing stuff to reactivate the people who's already aware of you so you can convert them in? That's where that magical and the follow-up come in, you know, and doing stuff like that, not so much specials, but just more education. Because sometimes we feel like they know what it is. They know what these services are. They have no idea.
Yeah.
They go to Dr. Google and they typing in the wrong thing at Dr. Google. And so they're way off. Yeah. So they need the professionals like you to educate them. And that's where the webinars come in. That's where the events come in. Small little stuff at the spa. 30, 45-minute webinar to explain what transformations this thing actually makes will make a big difference in the business during these seasons.
The J's don't bother everybody.
Nope.
Like it did this season.
Yep.
I was exempt from them J's for a little while. It didn't make me feel like I was better, but I will tell you, it was a different time.
Yeah. Oh, big difference.
That we were living in.
Yes.
And that's why those collaborations and those pivots make a big difference, because when it happens to you and when it knocks on your door, what you're going to actually do is going to be, you know, the determination of where you go next in this business. And so a lot of people were so happy in those COVID year.
Oh, that's the big difference. They were big money.
It's not today.
Yeah, I didn't get to experience the aesthetic world during those times. I wish I have, but I didn't.
If you were fixing problems, you were doing really well in the COVID years, because that maskne and corrective skin. So all the masks were messing people's face up. People would never had acne. People would never had a breakout. They were, especially the medical professionals, they were losing their minds.
That makes sense, because them things be dirty.
So I was fixing a lot of problems from that bacteria that was festering when those people having to wear those masks all day. And so I had more people in my books that I could even handle. Long days to the point all I could see is just sheets flipping and a blur. Yes. Because of how busy that I was. And I don't miss that today, because my goal is not to get busier. I want the money to look the same and better. Yes. but it's not to get busier as I grow older in this business.
So how are you working to not being busier, but being wealthier and having that big impact? Like, what are you doing? Like, give me something that probably an aesthetic professional can be like, okay, let me start implementing this as well.
It's going to be honestly the goal that you have. I'm big on education and awareness. I'm big on the wellness piece. And so I'm definitely going to be transitioning more into the education component, more training in my space. I train now, but nothing like I should be doing and I would like to be doing. I think I'm gonna have to call you for that part.
Yeah, please do, because I say the quickest way to win is be a hybrid. So have service and education, because what happens is every dollar that you spend for service, you actually get 2 people, because the success of the dollar from the service actually get the person that want to learn from you as well. So we use that $1 to get 2 people.
Gotcha. I love that.
I love it.
That's good.
And that's how it happens, right? And so when we see a lot of our clients going crazy overboard, like killing it, it's because they are hybrid. It's not. It's multiple flows in the same thing.
Yeah, I noticed that. Back to the point about my space and what I did with it, I had training in mind in the build out. I had large groups of people in mind in the process of being built out. What I do with this space. So when I had Bible study there last night and everybody was in the lobby, that was a part of my vision, that I would shift, aspects of how I did community.
Yeah.
And it brought out some different people who could also hear about skincare. Yeah. So those clients come different ways. It's not considered necessarily an event, but it is.
Yeah.
And they see your beautiful face every week for Bible study, and they don't know you or a friend, brought them in. Then they're going to realize, like, hey, you got some skincare in the display, skincare over here. Okay, what exactly do you do? Then after Bible study, we can talk skin.
I understand that tremendously. Like, even when we built this space out, it was built out for education.
Yeah.
Right? Because I live in Johns Creek, right? And this space was like right in the middle from Johns Creek and downtown. So it's 25 minutes from downtown and it's 25 minutes from Johns Creek. So it's right in the middle. But it's a hotel right here in the parking lot.
Okay.
For when I'm teaching. And inside of our building, we got 3 training facilities inside this building. Since we got this big old suite, we don't have to pay no additional for the training centers in the building. So I thought about that and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We're going to be able to impact and serve so many more aesthetic professionals.
Yes.
And similar to your Bible studies, what we did was we created this show called the Content Aesthetic Show.
Yeah. Look at that.
So it's you know what I'm saying?
Get it.
100%.
100%.
And to think about content, like, how are you with your content? Let's talk about it.
I don't think you would be proud of me.
Okay, tell me why you don't go all in on the content.
I think I think too hard about what I think in my before life. I was just an influencer that I think I want to pop in and out of stories, and I don't have the consistency of an educational plan. I know people like to learn. I know people like to gain something, and I know I have that to give, but it is not a space of structure where a 30-day plan of what they will learn. If I knew every Tuesday at 9 a.m. what I would be teaching, and it was structured, and I know for sure it's what the people want, I would be on there at 9 a.m. every Tuesday. I think the structuring of putting it together is beyond me sometimes.
Yeah.
Because even though I can flow when you start talking skincare to me, and sometimes I can wow myself with the things that I know after a decade being in this business, it doesn't organically just jump on a live and just start talking about it. Flow out of me without a question being asked or some type of Q&A form. It's just not there in that space.
I understand. Like even for us, we do a thing every morning where we teach on YouTube for aesthetic professionals. But I always prep the morning before. Right. I know my target. I know what I'm talking about. I don't know the exact topic, but I know what I'm talking about. And I like to, I broke it down in every day, a different thing, right? Mondays is we break down that mindset, like poor mindset of aesthetic professionals. Tuesday, we talk about sales and how to actually better convert in your sales. Wednesday, we talk about content. Thursday, we talk about leadership. And Friday, we talk about nurturing and follow-up.
Gotcha.
Right. And so what I always do is I listen to problems I hear people talk about and I change that into a topic. And then I break down that topic and I teach how to overcome that.
So I don't think I'm in front of the people enough to know outside of people who lay on my table. And that's a conversation then, that I don't take to the camera as much as I should. I tried to do a podcast one time and I wanted to do something that wasn't out there and I haven't seen it. I'm not going to tell them yet. I'm going to tell you off camera. And maybe you can help me with that.
Okay. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is showing up and not putting so much pressure on yourself to get it right. It's all about testing. You ain't never going to know what the people like. You're going to keep testing and then you'll start seeing it goes back to data. Right. So the more you put out, the more you can test. Oh, no, they don't like that. Don't do that no more. Okay. Do a little more of this. But it's like allow yourself the ability to test in front of the people.
Okay.
Some stuff is going to sweep on the rug and never happen. Some stuff is going to be life changing for people. But it's consistency. And like you said, Tuesday at 9 a.m. I don't care what the teaching is. You start something Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Okay.
And you show up and you put out some content. You listen. You don't need nobody there to answer questions. They telling you the questions probably in your comments, probably somewhere else. They're telling you the questions or you provoke the questions.
Okay.
And then you take that and use it as your topic. See, it's no excuses to creating content. You got to create content. The more content you create, the louder your voice be. The louder your voice be, the more people you help.
I gotcha.
Right. And that's how I look at content. T.D. Jakes said this, if Jesus was to come back today, he'll come back as a filmmaker. When he said that, it's because the Bible is nothing but parables. All content is nothing but stories. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And so all we could do is get on here and we can share stories, help stories, and we can change people's lives. But the thing about content is you create it one time and it lives even when you die. And so it's like, if content live when I die, but they tell me diamonds is forever, I think content is forever.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
That's amazing.
No.
And I think that's a part of even sometime like the newer SDs and Spa Pros, they came into the era of content.
Yeah.
And I'm not necessarily the old people. I'm not the young people. I'm like right in the middle. So we can have days where we kind of pop in with content and we have days where we just fall off completely because we kind of straddling the fence, with our content. And I still think it's a mindset issue. It's a mindset issue of the consistency of what your days are and what we feel like is boring and we'll keep saying the same thing or
you got to keep educating.
So it's the mindset.
Yeah. Most of the time, it's only a few things you can talk about.
For sure.
And you're going to keep instilling that because sometimes people take a long time to get something in their hard heads.
For sure.
You're just going to say it in a different way. But what you specialize is what you specialize in. Any big corporation you think about, they only say the same stuff over and over too. Think about it. Anybody.
Yes.
They say the same thing. Sometimes we think we got to be brand new. We got to keep No. You brainwash the consumers. Okay. It's all brainwashing. Just like when you got in a car one day and there was a song playing and you didn't like the song.
Yeah.
After a week later, that was your jam. It's brainwashing. Yes. And all we do is use content to do is brainwash. But we use it in a good way to brainwash them to actually help them. If we don't, then you're going to have the negative people that's taking advantage of people have that control. That's why if we don't control the media, who will?
That's good.
You know, and that's how I look at content.
That's good.
And so when we come in as a content firm and we do all your content, all we're doing is helping you get more visibility, more consistency by brainwashing the people around you to actually fall in love with you. So it don't matter who else is doing what you're doing because you become the loudest. Now you have more opportunity to convert. That is the power of content. Stop attempting to do it yourself. Just delegate it.
That's
right.
That's it.
We see our clients once a month for no more than 2 hours. Most of it, if it's virtual, 1 hour. If it's in person, it's 2 hours. So they create all the content for a whole month in 1 or 2 hours.
That's
and never have to worry about it that much at all. They don't got to worry about editing. They don't worry about captioning. They don't got to worry about posting. They don't got to worry about automations. They don't got to worry about
all the things we don't want to do.
Yes, that's what.
All the things we don't want to do.
Yeah, we just do it. Only thing you got to worry about is closing and doing the sales. That's it. We do everything else.
That's a good problem to only worry about that.
Oh, but that'd be a big problem because the visibility is the first issue. Number 2 issue is sales. So now if you don't know how to sell, you don't know how to convert, if you get intimidated by no's.
Yeah. And
then from there is client experience.
And you generate these leads.
Yes. Yep. That's what it's about.
It's amazing.
Right. And then that's why I can tell you the whole process, what happens, right?
Okay.
And then it goes from client experience to now you need to have more staff because you can't do everything.
Yes.
Then from there, it get deep. It get deep.
I love that. I feel like that's the space I'm in now.
We cause every problem. Every growth level going to cause a new problem.
That's what I feel like. I feel like I've grown into more. It makes you feel like, you know, how you get grown and you want to go back home and be a kid again. You say, I can't wait to move out.
Yeah.
Can't wait to grow your business.
Yeah.
The business has grown. Now you're like, I just want to go back to the suite again.
Yeah. But it's like, you're going to always have a problem. But entrepreneurship is about solving problems.
Yes.
So it's like, all right, when I get to this next level, what's this new problem? How much is it going to cost to fix it? That is the answer to everything. How much is going to cost to fix it? And then after that should bring more revenue for that area. And then now you got a new problem. Now this new problem is a little bigger, right? Then from there, once you get to more expansion, then you're going to have to bigger space. You're going to have to outgrow. Then you're going to go from there to probably mergers and acquisitions. You're going to start buying and partnership and collaborating. Like this, all that happens along the growth. Or somebody might come in, private equity might want to come and buy the practice because of the cash flow. So it's like, what are we setting ourselves up for? And so when I look at every other ethnicity and then I look at us, I say, what is going wrong? And I work backwards. Okay. And so that is how I'm obsessed with studying. Like every industry I get in, I dominate.
Okay.
Right? Like people are like, what the heck? Like even when I remember one time we was servicing mortgage lenders and stuff. I went in and I did a 2-day mortgage loan origination class. And 3 days later, I went and got my license just to learn the back end, not to practice, but to learn the back end so I can better help my clients know what to say, how to say, what happens when this happens. So, because, you know, most content people don't know your world. And so they can't coach you or teach you what to say.
I think that's amazing that you have jumped into our world and gotten to know it the way that you have.
I'm obsessed. you go look at my book collection. Like, it's crazy. Like, I'm obsessed. I study every single day.
That's good.
But that's why I tell people it's trial and error. Nothing's perfect. Like, but I think another thing is I learned that the aesthetic professionals don't have enough patience in our community.
Okay.
The other communities, they can be with like their marketing agencies for 2-3 years. The black ones, they think months. It's not a month thing. Why would you switch out with a company that's learning your voice and learning you and helping you when the season gets slow in everything. If you go look in the stock market, the seasons get slow. If you look at real estate, the seasons get slow. It don't matter what it is, but what happens is we jump from ship to ship in 90 days. But it take more than 90 days to even see results.
For sure.
And so that be like the big difference. I'd be so passionate about it. Like,
no, you know what you're talking about.
I study and I spend a lot of money to learn. Like I told you, like I went from 13 mentors to now I just pay for the time. So like a lot of the top marketing agencies that was in the static practice that sold their companies for 20, 30 million, I paid the CEOs to learn what they was doing.
Okay.
I paid them to understand what was working and what wasn't. They hear my model, they love my model, but they say I'm giving away too much. And I say, but my people is different.
Yeah.
They so far behind.
No, for
and
sure.
And so they say, man, we did a lot less for a lot more. And I'm like, but you're dealing with a different crowd.
So that brings me to a question. Yeah. In the industry now, and those of us who have been in the industry for some time now, we come from a hands-on era where we are grinding with our heads down. You know, the worker bees, per se. A lot of us are not gifted in the world that is mandatory today. Yeah. And I'm not saying that's me, because I have learned to adjust. I just don't have a love for it, but I can do it. But there are some of my colleagues in that 40 plus that literally have grudgingly having a hard time jumping into the world that is a demand for you at this particular time. Yeah. So I see on all of the ads now on Instagram and Facebook where all these people are trying to cater to us now when it comes to helping us market, so-called get 50 clients in a month, do all of a sudden everything is around spa professionals and getting us helping our spa business like I've never seen before.
That's what I said too. I said, where y'all come from? I never heard nobody talk about it. Yeah.
Never. Yeah. I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
I really do. And some of us, because we don't know how to make these hard pivots, we haven't been stable in business long enough to confidently invest in the services that we need. How do you help those people?
I think the biggest thing is letting them know that you got to pivot. Mm-hmm. If you don't pivot, you're going to drown the ship.
Yeah.
It's a new time. And you gotta sacrifice, right? Because if you don't get seen, you don't get no service anyway.
True.
You know, and sometimes it's like, oh, but I'm scared I'm going to lose my money. You're going to lose your money if you don't do. And so the biggest thing is like, well, I can't afford to. Mm-hmm. Go and sacrifice. If you gotta, maybe more for the nurse practitioners and the MDs, go work a shift at the hospital. Yeah. Maybe for the SDs is sell more products or go get something else on the side. Go work in a doctor's office on the side. Whatever you gotta do, just to give it a jump start.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Give it a jump start, but have the patience. I don't know. Go get a business loan. Bring the service. First thing we do is when you come to us, we make you up your services anyway. The prices, whatever your prices is, we go higher instantly. Because to pay for marketing, you got to pay for marketing. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's not a cheap thing. So it's like, all right, we go see these big aesthetic practices, right? We see they do 1.3 million a year.
Okay.
That's only $100,000. First of all, that's only $87,000 a month.
Okay.
Right. And so it's like, to do $1 million, all you gotta do is $87,000 a month. How much are you spending to get that visibility? All right. So they might be spending to get $87,000. Let's say they spend $25,000, $30,000. They just almost 3x their money. But us, we'd be like, I only could spend $100. Well, to acquire one lead in aesthetic practice, take a minimum of $300. Mm-hmm. So if one lead is about $300 to convert lead, you can get leads, but they all not converting. It's a numbers game. So if you got 100 leads, out of 100 leads, probably 30 of them will pick up the phone, and then out of 30, you might convert about 10 to 15%.
Yeah.
So it's a numbers game, but you're not getting enough visibility to even be able to convert them. But let's just say you converted out of that 100 leads, you converted 15 of them at a price point of $1,500 to $2,000. That's a $30,000 a month.
That's good.
But what happens is you got to spend to get seen, and then what happens is You got to look at the lifetime value of the client, not just the one-off value. And so it's like, all right, on average, how long is your patient staying with you?
Yeah.
All right, so on average, aesthetic practice patient's supposed to spend at least $10,000. So if you're not getting that, let's say if they with you for 12 months. But on average right now, since you're brainwashing your people for 90 days, they're only staying with you for 90 days.
Right.
So your lifetime value ain't long enough because you're programming them to think about 90 days. When the problem that they need fixed actually take 12 months.
It does.
So you have to let them know that ahead of time. That's a big difference.
Yeah.
And so it's like, allow somebody to come in that understand what you do to really build out and build with you. But you got to be open because it costs. To do this stuff to help you bring in more money, it costs you money. Right? And so it's like, and it's not a cheap thing. Nothing's cheap. Your services ain't cheap.
No.
The industry you're in ain't cheap. It's expensive.
Yes, it is.
But it's worth it. Because let's say you go to we're a content firm. We're not a marketing agency. Most of the marketing agencies, they in their mama basement, right? We're a content firm. We gotta wear a uniform. We gotta be suit and tie. We gotta boot it up around here.
Yeah.
And we come with professionalism all the time, right? You got to get somebody that knows what you do and care about what you do. It's so many people online that might be promoting, oh, I could get you these many patients. I'll get you this. Yeah, it's easy to get leads. The hard part is having the reputation. So when the leads come in, they actually convert. And so that's why content is important first. Because they get to fall in love with you from social media.
Yeah.
They think they know you. They think y'all cousins.
Yeah.
And so when they come in, it's not like you're a stranger off the streets. They come in, fall in love with you. See, we don't do all of that. Oh, come get my service, $99 special. We don't do all that because you're going to get price conscious people, not value conscious people. Price conscious only coming for a deal. They in and out.
Yes.
Value people coming because they got a problem and they know you are the person to fix it. And so that's what the whole messaging is about.
Love that.
So yeah, I would say spend the money to get seen and stick with it until it pays off.
Love that.
So yeah.
Is it a slogan?
No, I just made that up.
Let's write that down.
I'm going to go back and rewind this and listen. Right. And so, like even for our company, our values at the King of Content is number one, go over and beyond. Number two, excellence is the standard. Number three, help our clients serve better than anybody else in their market. That's it.
Love that.
It's all about serving. If the more you serve, the bigger you become, right? And so we give out an award called the Impact Award, right? Like if you look over there, it says blue, and I have them put it on the screen. We give that out once you serve over 500 people in your community. I don't got to ask you how much money you made. If you serve 500 people and you charge $1,000, I know how much money you made.
Yeah.
I don't got to ask.
Right.
But because you serving the people, you will always win. So it's more about serving more people.
Love that.
Yeah.
Service.
First. That's what service is, serving. Serving is just service.
Serving.
And so if you had one superpower, what would it be and why?
I will base it off of where I am today. This could change in 6 months. But I have such a need for reset. If I had a superpower, I would snap my fingers and my building would be completely staffed. And I would go and sit on an island. And I would create some content. I would get some rest. I will sit in some stillness. To create some space to recreate for the next level that I'm ready to go to. But I realized that I need some space for that. And so if everything was running like a well-oiled machine, it will give me the space to come back bigger than ever. And that's what I want right now.
I love that. I want you to look in this camera. And I want you to talk to that aesthetic professional that might be on the verge of giving up. What would you say to them to keep them going?
I would tell the aesthetic professional that, listen, it's going to get hard sometime. Collaborate. pull on the coattails of people that can stand in the gap for you, that can pray you through, to talk you through, to encourage you, because isolation or trying to figure out, if you could figure it out, you have already. Go ahead and link up with some people, grab arms with some people that can help you stand in a season where you can't stand alone. This is not meant for you to do this on your own. If it was, it wouldn't be people like me and Dontel and all the other spa professionals. Every last one of us have had to grab the coattail. We've had to link up with some people in our dark seasons and our heavy seasons to help us along the way. So don't ever feel like you are a failure. Don't ever feel like it is just you. You are not on an island of your own. We were just smart enough to ask for help. Put your pride, your ego aside and ask for help, because you came into this thing because you loved it and you were passionate enough to build it. And although there will be trials, keep going, get the support you need. Implement the strategies, put the resources in place, hire the people you need to hire, and keep going. It will work if you work it.
I love that. That was really, really good.
Yeah.
And I just want to commend you for being strong to reset.
Yeah.
For pushing that, because reset is everything.
It is.
But also, protecting your kids and their confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And going out there and changing inner people so they can go out and change more people. I just want to commend you for that.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Because it takes a lot to be a servant leader.
Oh my goodness.
And we be going through it.
It is a ministry.
Yes. But we got dealt with it.
Yeah.
So we dealing with it.
Listen. Made for it.
Built for it. Built for it tough.
Yes.
Shout out to Detroit.
Yes.
All right. I want to thank you for tuning in to the Content Aesthetic Show today. I want you to understand that it is okay to reset. I want you to understand that even though you're going to go through your seasons, don't get stuck in the season, because it's a reason for you to keep growing. But the only way for you to know is if you keep going. And so take your aesthetic practice to new levels, do new things, surround yourself around new people, but do that now and don't overthink the process. I hope this episode helped you with that. And I want to just commend you for tuning in, for listening. I'm Dontel Antonio, and this is the Content Aesthetic Show.